one.
Well, good evening, students. This is Dr. Weldon from Alabama Technology in Motion. I'm your adjunct instructor for this course, EDU 3303. And this is a continuation from week one. So what we discussed in our first session was why EDU 3303. And so there's an education psychology component to this class, and then there's an assessment component. As an educator, we need to understand the dynamics of personal interactions with our students, while the assessment component is we're identifying the most effective assessment tools that we can utilize to help the students in the learning process. So remember, our essential question from last week was, how do we measure student outcomes in the classrooms of today with all the challenges and the technology? That is an ever-changing answer in terms of the solutions that's available to us. And when you think about assessment, we go, well, why do we do it? What's the motivation for us as an educator and for the students? Well, hopefully our assessments encourage learning. They motivate the students to learn the task or a skill at hand. It provides feedback also for the learner and the teacher, so they'll know where they are in this relationship. And it documents competencies and skills. It's an accountability component that we have in education today. It also allows learners to rank and be graded so they know how they are performing in the class compared to their peers. And it validates certifications and professional practices as well. And that's why you take the praxis when you get to the end of this. That's our assessment that you need. That's the summative assessment that you get at the end. So it's basically for these purposes that we do assessments. All right, so again, it was motivation, create learning opportunities, and provide feedback are the three significant reasons. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. So I'm going to skip this one for now. And I discussed this briefly the other day because I was thinking about it from your perspective as a student. If you're taking multiple classes, I'm your third class of the day. A lot of the terminology just kind of runs together. And when we think of that, I was like, let's make sure you understand where the assessments are in terms of being a professional educator. And see, first of all, you have curriculum, which is what you teach. Then you have your instruction, right, which is how you deliver it, how you teach the materials. And the assessments are why we teach. It's so that you can measure student outcomes, to measure where they are in the relationships and how they're actually doing. If you think about curriculum is 21 levels of education. It starts K, and technically you can even say pre-K now, and it just continues on through their first 12 grades of school, and then finally when you become a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, and if you go to graduate school, there's multiple levels of our curriculum resources, and that's how we structure it. We don't structure it necessarily by age, but by competencies, which is pretty much how it's been done in the United States for the last century. So remember, curriculum resources are your textbooks, your digital content, the resources available to you like videos and audios and web resources.